On a stormy night when a humble diner became the stage for an unforgettable act of courage, an unassuming hero stepped forward to stand against cruelty and restore hope in a frightened town. Imagine a moment when a quiet strength met raw injustice head-on, where one man's resolve sparked a chain reaction that forever changed lives. Where are you watching from? If you love powerful tales of transformation and courage, be sure to subscribe to Timeless Stories for more timeless narratives that remind us of the strength we all carry inside. It was a bitter, rain-soaked evening in a small, nondescript town, one of those places where neon signs flicker like tired sentinels against the relentless downpour. In the soft glow of a modest diner known simply as the Corner, a few weary souls huddled over their steaming cups of coffee, each seeking refuge from the storm both outside and within their hearts. In one quiet corner of the Corner sat Keanu Reeves, a man whose calm presence and steady gaze exuded a quiet strength that could still the chaos of the world around him. His dark sunglasses, even in the dim light of the diner, lent him an air of mystery as if he could see the unspoken worries and hidden fears of every person present. Tonight, however, the tranquility of the diner was not to last. The heavy front door creaked open with a force that seemed to summon the very fury of the storm outside. A gust of icy wind burst in, carrying with it a motley band of leather-clad bikers. Their leader, a burly man with a sneer of arrogance, strode in with an air of entitlement. This man, known to the locals as Derek, exuded menace with every step he took. His presence alone was enough to make the murmurs in the diner fall silent. Derek's eyes locked onto a young waitress working diligently behind the counter. Her name was Samantha, a kind and determined soul who had spent countless hours at the Corner, serving coffee and offering a warm smile despite the hardships of life. But tonight, Samantha's gentle demeanor was shadowed by a palpable anxiety as Derek advanced toward the counter. "Time to settle your debt, sweetheart," Derek drawled in a low, menacing tone. With a sudden, forceful slam, he pounded his palm onto the counter, making the cups tremble and sending a shiver through the already uneasy patrons. His eyes burned with cruelty as he glared at Samantha, whose hands shook slightly as she clutched a pen and notepad. The look in her eyes spoke volumes, a mix of fear and the quiet determination of someone who refused to break. For a moment, the diner's fragile peace hung by a thread, but as tension built to an almost unbearable crescendo, all eyes turned to Keanu Reeves. His gaze, unyielding and calm, seemed to absorb every ounce of the injustice unfolding before him. Though he said nothing, his mere presence radiated an unspoken promise that cruelty would not go unchallenged. Before Derek could further tighten his grip, both metaphorically and physically, on Samantha's vulnerability, Keanu rose from his seat. There was no grand announcement, no dramatic music swelling in the background, just the silent, measured steps of a man who had seen enough injustice in the world to know that sometimes one must act. With the precision and grace of a seasoned guardian, Keanu moved between Derek and Samantha, positioning himself as a barrier against the unfolding malice. "Enough," Keanu said softly in a steady, low voice. Those simple words, laden with quiet authority, cut through the charged atmosphere like a beacon of hope. Derek's mocking smile faltered as he met Keanu's intense, unwavering gaze. A gaze that carried not only strength, but a deep, resonant empathy for the innocent. In that moment, the confrontation transformed into a graceful, decisive dance of defense. Derek, emboldened by his own arrogance, lunged forward, attempting to strike Keanu with a fury born of desperation and entitlement. But Keanu's response was a masterclass in controlled action. With a fluid motion that seemed almost choreographed, he deflected the assault with a measured block, a precise move that neutralized the threat without a hint of unnecessary violence. One by one, the other bikers, who had gathered around their leader in a show of solidarity, tried to join the fray. A chair was flung, a crude grab was attempted, but every aggressive act was met by Keanu's serene composure. His movements were like ripples in a still pond, each calculated response a reminder that true power comes not from brute force, but from the strength to protect those who cannot protect themselves. As the confrontation reached its climax, the diner's atmosphere shifted from one of palpable fear to an almost sacred silence. Derek, his bravado thoroughly extinguished by the silent, resolute force of Keanu Reeves, lay sprawled on the floor. His gang, now visibly shaken and unsure, retreated slowly into the dark corners of the stormy night, leaving behind an air of awe and relief. Outside, the flashing red and blue lights of arriving police cars painted the rain-soaked windows with fleeting hues of hope. Officers moved in quickly, securing Derek and his disoriented crew. In the midst of this, Samantha, still trembling from the ordeal, lifted her eyes to meet Keanu's. In that exchange, she found not only gratitude but a spark of hope, a realization that even in the darkest moments, there is a power within each of us to stand against injustice. Without uttering another word, Keanu offered Samantha a subtle nod, an unspoken affirmation that the strength to overcome cruelty lay within every heart. Then, as silently as he had appeared, he slipped back into the rainy night, his figure merging with the darkness, leaving behind a town forever touched by his quiet heroism. In the hours that followed, as the rain gradually eased into a gentle drizzle and the neon glow of the corner began to flicker back to life, the events of that fateful night took on a significance far beyond a simple barroom brawl. The incident became a catalyst, a spark that ignited a slow but steady transformation within the town. People began to talk. Whispers spread among the locals about the mysterious man who had intervened when fear and cruelty reigned supreme. The story of Keanu Reeves' silent intervention reached every corner of the community. It was not long before the tale was shared widely online, capturing the hearts and imaginations of people far beyond that small town. In coffee shops, at dinner tables, and in online forums, discussions erupted about the nature of true strength. The narrative was clear. Bravery is not measured by how loudly one shouts or how forcefully one strikes. It is defined by the quiet resolve to do what is right, even when standing alone. It is a reminder that kindness and understanding can be far more potent weapons than anger or aggression. For Samantha, that night marked a turning point. No longer did she feel like a small, powerless figure in the shadow of fear. Inspired by the courage she had witnessed, she began to find her own voice. Day by day, she grew more confident and more willing to stand up for herself and others. Her newfound strength radiated through her work, and soon other members of the community started to realize that they too had the power to challenge the status quo. Even those who had long felt trapped in a cycle of intimidation and silence began to reclaim their dignity. Neighbors who once kept their heads bowed in fear now engaged in heartfelt conversations about justice and compassion. The town, which had once been defined by its quiet resignation, was slowly awakening to the possibility of change. Though Keanu Reeves had vanished into the night, his impact remained, a silent legacy of courage that continued to inspire everyone who heard his story. His actions served as a timeless reminder that every act of kindness and every stand against injustice creates ripples that can transform a community. It is a lesson that transcends the boundaries of time and place. True strength lies in the willingness to protect the vulnerable, to challenge oppression, and to embrace empathy. At its core, this story is about the transformative power of courage and the importance of standing up for what is right. It is a tale of how one person's quiet heroism can light the way for an entire community, inspiring others to overcome fear and reclaim their power. In a world where acts of cruelty and indifference can too often dominate the headlines, the legacy of that stormy night serves as a beacon of hope, a reminder that every individual has the capacity to make a difference. As you reflect on this story, ask yourself, when faced with injustice, will you remain silent, or will you find the strength to speak out and act? Will you let fear dictate your choices, or will you stand firm in your convictions and defend what is right? The moral is simple yet profound. The true measure of strength is not how much force you can exert, but how deeply you care about the well-being of others. In moments of crisis, it is the quiet, resolute hearts, the ones that dare to stand against the tide, that change the world. If this story has touched your heart or stirred something deep within you, take a moment to reflect on the power of kindness and the importance of standing up for what is right. Imagine a world where every small act of courage creates a ripple effect of positive change. Today, challenge yourself to spread kindness, whether by lending a helping hand, standing up for someone in need, or simply sharing a kind word with a stranger. And if you believe in the power of these timeless values, please like, share, and subscribe to Timeless Stories. Your support helps keep these narratives alive, reminding us all that even in the darkest nights, there is always a spark of hope waiting to ignite the dawn. In the days that followed, as the town slowly returned to its daily rhythm, the memory of that transformative night lingered like a gentle whisper. The neon sign of the corner still glowed softly, a silent witness to the night when fear was met with unwavering courage, and a simple act of kindness changed everything. For some, the memory of that night became a personal call to action, a reminder that true heroes are not always found in the headlines or on the big screen, but in the quiet moments when one individual dares to stand against injustice. As the rain eventually gave way to clear skies and a new day dawned, the town carried forward a renewed sense of purpose. Remember, the story of that stormy night is not just about what happened in a small diner. It is about the enduring strength of the human spirit. It is a timeless lesson that reminds us all to be brave, to be kind, and to always fight for what is right. So if you were in Samantha's shoes, would you have had the courage to speak out? How would you respond if you witnessed such an act of injustice? We invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let us start a conversation about the power of empathy, the value of standing up for one another, and the timeless truth that even the quietest souls can have the loudest hearts. Thank you for listening to this story on Timeless Stories. May it inspire you to embrace kindness and courage in your own life, and to remember that every act of goodness creates a ripple that can change the world. If this story moved you, consider spreading kindness today. Like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales that remind us all of our shared humanity. Stay strong, stay kind, and keep the flame of hope burning bright.